our series where we're touring luxury and antique homes in the quiet corner of Connecticut. Today's house brings us to Hampton, and this beautiful house has been restored to its glory. Our friend Mark Bernard, who is also a real estate agent, owns this property, and he's going to give us a tour. So let's go and meet him.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you.
Come on in. We can have some wine as we're doing this, right?
Ooh, I love wine. Perfect. All right, we're going this way?
Sure.
Yeah, I did that right.
Here we are.
Cheers, yeah. So Mark is going to tell us a little bit about the history of the house. He has these books, and this really has some thick history over time in this family that lived here. So tell us all about it.
So, very fascinating. I did not know until I was buying the house that there was even a book written on it. So the house was built in 1795. It was in the same family until 1966. So the book just really goes over, it's not just the people, it's the town, the church, just things happening with the history of Hampton, which is pretty amazing. But they just kept giving it from the parents to the daughter to her brother to his kids until it finally had to sell in 1966.
That's a really long time to be in one single family.
Yeah.
And then it went to one owner after that.
And they were here for 40 years.
To you?
Nope, they were here for 40
okay.
years, and then two guys bought it for a summer home. They were here for 10 years.
Oh, okay.
And then I bought it.
So you're the fourth owner.
Yes.
And now you're passing it on.
Correct.
Okay.
It's time to move on to the next person.
Yeah, that's
pretty
awesome.
exciting.
So this is a really cool house, and specifically, who owned it, obviously. The barrels upstairs you were showing me. So let's get into it. Let's get into it.
Okay, so just everybody, the nice thing with an old house is everybody does something to make it their own. Like, you're the steward of the house for the time being that you're here. So when the original owners passed away, one cousin bought it from his other cousin, and in 1856 they renovated, did the floor-to-ceiling windows, did the porch, they made it their own. Then when it actually left to the Robertsons, they tweaked it and did some of their own stuff, and then the last owners did a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff that you don't see, but you just need to do with maintaining any home, but an older home, it's just that much more. And then I feel I came in to do, I say cosmetics, but it's just far more than that. Like the kitchen, like that fireplace, I did not even know was there.
Oh, wow.
Just part of that was.
So that was behind a wall.
It was in a bathroom.
In a bathroom behind a wall. Okay.
Yeah, and you just kind of, it's just been a warm, comfortable, never overwhelming house at all. It's just been a fun part of living and loving the
Even
house.
just, you said these beams. What about this fireplace?
So that was built in 1826. When they took the original chimneys down and moved them to do the center hall is when they added this fireplace here.
Awesome. Wow.
And it's all in the book, just kind of, that's kind of how you know something.
Yeah. So the original owner was a postmaster?
Their cousin owned the post office. I think they became attorneys. So two brothers married two sisters. They bought the house together, lived here until they all died.
So they all lived together
lived
in
here.
one house?
Yep.
Two separate families, but together.
They both had a child
A little
around the same
different
time.
nowadays.
So they raised them as brothers more than cousins, and one cousin bought the other cousin after the parents died. But they stayed here. Then they were in Hartford. This was a summer home for a while.
And from what I understand, there was a little bit of scandal.
Yes.
Yeah. Little town scandal. And it's all written in the book,
It's
which
all
I
in the
think
book.
is really
it's all
cool.
documented. So the neat thing is you don't just get to know the house, you get to know the town, you get to know the people, you get to know the people when they were at the church next door. Like when there was a fallout in the church next door, they went to Pomfret and started the church over there because they're having issues here.
Oh, that's funny.
And just things that happen today, but it's documented from the 1800s.
Yeah. And the town of Hampton, we learned, was that Massachusetts came down, people from Massachusetts came down to settle in Hampton because of the agriculture.
Yep.
There was great farmland, you know, that kind of thing. So that's maybe, we don't know where this family came from.
Correct.
But that's where they settled here.
That's where they settled.
Wow. Well, let's walk around.
Let's walk around. Dip and talk. So this is the fireplace that was totally covered over. This was the bathroom. So you're standing, I think the sink was there.
Okay.
And the bathroom literally just had that window. So when I gutted it, never even knew a fireplace was here.
Wow.
And just one of the other many, and exposed the brick, because the brick is the character and charm of what's here. This here was a hallway. This is a hallway. This is all closets under the stairs, closets over here. So it literally made the kitchen very small. It's like one strip of
It just
cabinets.
feels like so wide open, especially cutting through here
Yeah.
and exposing the other side of the house is like,
I knew when I bought it, when I walked in here, I wanted this. I wanted the kitchen to be the focal point
yeah.
of, which is how it is. When I entertain people, always in here.
Oh yeah.
It's the way that I thought it should be.
This is so cool.
Dining room. Yeah, should we just blow up? No idea why.
It's so weird that they just decided to like curve that wall. Another fireplace, so beautiful dining room.
Another fireplace. So floor to ceiling windows go in the
Yeah.
front and that side
I love
there.
the wall sconces because these are so traditional for older homes.
Those are true to the house, so I had somebody rewire them.
Yeah.
Just so they're
Instead
safe.
of like a big chandelier like, you know, nowadays.
I debated putting one, but I like the candles whenever I'm here. I always like the candles,
Yeah.
which is more of the setting of what the room should be.
Right.
So here's some of the molding we were talking about, how it's really wide, chunky, and they do, I call it axe head on the bottom, and it's 3 pieces of molding, which you'd never get anymore. Center hallway, which there was a chimney and they took down to do the hallway because it was just more elegant than a center chimney.
And again, I like to notice like all of the detail going up the side of the staircase. Short railings, you know, not quite to code nowadays, but
And then when you go upstairs, you'll see they're basic.
yeah.
It's like a
Oh,
slab,
yeah.
they're not
So
even as nice as these.
pretty here,
Yep,
not
pretty
so much
here,
upstairs.
not so much up there.
Yeah.
Same thing, nice chunky, big windows. Again, it wasn't the era of the house, it's more Victorian-ish, but that's what they wanted. But that's what I mean, we all bring our own thoughts and characters. I wouldn't do this today, but I wouldn't take it out because it meant to somebody who lived here, it meant a lot to them.
Yeah.
So just us all bringing our own twist to the house.
Love that.
Yeah.
Another fireplace.
Yep.
And you opened this room
Nope,
up.
that was open.
Okay, so this was.
And here I just redid
Scratch
floors.
that. No.
Oh, because of.
Yeah, just kidding. You did not open this.
I did.
But you have. Okay, so you have.
I just painted. Everything was like this.
Yep. And then was this butler pantry?
That was
That
it.
was
I
it.
opened up this way. The door was here,
here.
but it was a hallway going into the kitchen over there.
So another fireplace.
Yep.
I just love all the fireplaces.
I
And then
don't-
your cut through here you opened, and then we have the butler's pantry here. Beautiful, wide open living room.
Yep. So my room upstairs was added in 1927, and that's when they added this window, which the window actually opens up.
I see. That's
And so actually when it's open,
pretty.
you can hear the hummingbirds like really loud because they're right
Oh,
there.
I love
But yeah,
that.
it's really neat. When I came here, it wasn't opening, so I had to have the weights fixed.
So from here over was 1927. You said?
Nope, this part was here, the lower part, but
Oh,
they
there
added
was a-
upstairs.
oh,
They
I
went out
see.
to have a bedroom. The woman wanted her son, who was getting married, to come live with her.
Mm.
So she was making them their own suite to make it more enticing to come live here.
Come and live with me.
Exactly.
I don't want to be alone.
Please. But the raised wood
Yeah, I
here,
love that.
it's only in this room. This, they just did a little trim, but it's not the raised
Yeah, but this
wood.
is more detailed
Absolutely,
here.
it's more like
Yeah.
the den office area, how they did that. Then we have pantry, which I feel is an alcohol closet.
Yeah. You can use it for whatever you want
Whatever you
here.
want.
Yeah. And then here we go back to the kitchen.
Whoops, correct.
And then you.
See,
oh,
when I bought this is a solid wall too. You have to come this way
oh,
to
that's
go in.
weird.
Because there was plumbing here,
Love
which I
this.
moved.
This is such a huge beam. Really.
And it was hidden, it was in a closet.
Yeah,
It's
that's
literally in
crazy.
a closet.
Well, okay, so then we come over here.
Yes.
You didn't create this entryway, but
So
you did the brick.
So they actually had a storm door here, and there was a full door here to go into the house.
Oh, okay.
So I eliminated that because you didn't need.
A double
It just makes
door,
sense to have
yeah.
it more open.
Yeah, I love the brick.
Yeah.
And then this is where you go down to the basement, which
Yep.
you'll see that exposed.
Boards.
Yep. And then you have your bathroom here that you did.
Yep.
I think we should talk a little bit about this space, which I think
The
is really
studio.
cool. The studio now. What do you think this? And obviously the indoor. You talk about that.
Yes.
The indoor. Yeah. Okay.
Indoor outhouse, as
Yeah.
I like to call it.
So what was this originally?
A shed.
A shed?
Just literally a shed.
Attached to the house?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So originally when they did it and they did the bathroom, like I said, it was more elegant because normally you'd be going outside in the weather to use the bathroom.
So these people that owned it were pretty well off because they had an indoor outhouse.
Correct.
2-seater, so in case you want to go to the bathroom together.
Some families are very close.
Wouldn't do that nowadays.
No.
Inside.
Definitely not.
And then you said you saw this ladder up in the attic.
Yep, it was in the attic, so it's hand-hewn, so it was all custom made with an axe. Even the rungs are done like that. So I thought putting it here, it needs to be seen.
Lovely.
So,
yeah.
and then I just did the windows here a couple weeks ago to just add light, and it makes this such a big difference.
Yeah.
It's a nice bright space for whatever you want to do with it.
And you can see the exposed siding, maybe what it was at one point.
Yep. And then this is added later. Yep.
Cool.
This is modern, but I did it because I wanted some more light to come in and
Yeah.
just make it more fitting and make this a more usable space.
The floors, these huge wide planks. I mean, geez. This
This originally was
large.
here, hanging on the
wow.
wall. So I think when they probably had deliveries for milk and butter and stuff, there was probably a door.
Because it's metal on the
Correct.
inside.
So they would
it was
probably
like a
just do
cooler.
the deliveries, put it in here, and then you would know that to check out.
That's cool.
So I figured it should stay because it's just part of the house.
All right. Okay, here we go.
Here we go. No more wine for
I
you.
promise I'm. Oh man. It's like what? Hair of the dog.
Quick. This is just a comfortable room. This is gonna be my mom's room, so we actually put in a bigger grate. So I have recently stepped in here to try out the room, and it's much warmer than all the other rooms. So it worked well for my mom. These here we took out, they were louvered doors, so I had them make the raised panel to just match the rest of the house.
Yeah,
Kinda
it
make all
matches like
blended.
the doors
Right,
and it
so
feels.
you wouldn't kind of know that the newer doors.
Can I point out the windows too? I love the like old windows. You can see the wrinkles in the glass and you know, what is it, 12 panels
Yep,
on
12
these?
over 12s.
12? Oh
and that
my
one
gosh.
actually opens in, like we talked about the other ones.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
So if you want to take a little, there you go.
Oh my gosh. That's very unique, huh? Yeah.
I've never seen it
Normally it's like an
before.
up and down.
Yep, I have 6 windows that do that. So then I had to make a shelf. I think the other ones do, so I can put little knickknacks because it's kind of wider than normal.
Yeah.
You can leave it open.
Okay.
It's
I'll
like
leave
a
it
fun
open.
spot.
It's a beautiful day.
It's a beautiful day, exactly.
Don't die, Nate. Okay. Let's talk about the master, because we don't have to go into like every room, and if there's, especially if there's something like, you know, special.
So this room here, I took a wall down that was there because I didn't need all the rooms. So it made more sense to have a nice master suite. The floors, everything was like this, I just did them over. This room was painted. It's just a nice, light, bright room. I added a window over here that I took out of the kitchen. It just brings more brightness to the room.
Yeah, and you added the closets, you said,
Yep,
right?
it was actually over here when I took the wall down. We moved it because you used to walk from one room to the other, like the other side. Yeah. And I didn't need that. I needed more closet space and have the room nice and open.
It's the funny thing about the older style houses is they wanted to get from one bedroom into another bedroom, and nowadays we're like, nah.
Exactly. I'm like,
This is
it's
my
cute,
privacy.
but not practical. I don't need somebody walking in without coming through the door.
And I like that you kept the door, but you blocked it off, and now you have your closet.
Yep.
And what is this exactly? Is that a fireplace?
Nope, that's just that was at my mother's house. She had it
it's
for
just
like
decor.
40 years, so it's
Okay,
more a
so-
decorative piece.
Okay.
Not about her.
No. And then you exposed the beams.
I did. So it's
You did
interesting. The beams should normally go one way, but these go kind of both.
Multiple
So I don't
way,
know
yeah.
if there was like a staircase here before. There's a story, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Because it should all go one way for the support or the other way. But it was all blocked in. It was all. This room was really bad. I had to gut the whole room, which was never my intention. But it gave me the opportunity to insulate the walls, rewire, and then expose things that this was always just covered.
This is cool though. I love that you know that because you're like, this is supposed to all be one way for beams, but because this has this weird difference, there was something there.
And in the book that we saw downstairs, there used to be a window here. So before my bedroom was added, so that was the end of the house. And then it was just kind of neat. Like everybody likes that. They just kind of did their own thing to make it theirs.
Yeah. So here's your. This is the master anyway.
Yep.
And you kept these windows.
I added this one,
You added
which
this
came
one
from
from the
downstairs, but
kitchen.
it matches the others.
Yeah.
So it was the
okay.
same time period.
Now,
when they put them
because
in.
this was added in the 1900s,
Yep.
are these windows period to the rest of the house?
No. So half the house is 12 over 12 windows. The other half is 6 over 6.
The
So
6
these
over
are the
6.
newer, and these have ropes, which have had
from the
them all fixed.
1900s.
Where the older 12 over 12s, they don't. They would
Yeah.
go up and you would wedge them or have things to keep them open.
Ah.
So it's a little mixture of different periods
Yeah,
that blend together.
it's as the house was transformed. Okay.
Then we have the bathroom here.
And I like there's
The-
wood,
Yep.
which
the original wood
traditional
floor.
now you would see tile.
Correct. Actually, I have no tile or carpet in the house. It's all wood everywhere.
Oh, that's nice.
Every
to
bathroom
know.
is the original wood. Because remember, this wasn't a bathroom. They just added them wherever they could put them.
Oh, I see.
So the wood floors stayed where they were.
Speaking of bathroom, you just renovated this bathroom. Yeah.
I did.
Do we want to showcase that back staircase, servants'
Oh,
quarters,
yes.
if you will?
Brings you right down to the kitchen. A lot of people like using this, but I always come up the front. It's just nicer.
And then, speaking of bathrooms, you have this amazing renovated bathroom that you just did.
Yes, totally.
What was it before?
It was a bathroom.
Okay.
But the door was in a different spot. There was a little tiny sink. The tub was here, but it was in a different location. The toilet was over here. But I moved the wall over, and I moved it in, made the bathroom a little smaller, because I had to gut this bathroom as well. So where you're standing is a wider hallway. Because originally they just put up walls when they had plumbing and electricity that had bathrooms.
So while we're in here, maybe we should head up
Yes.
to the attic.
Let's do it.
Let's do that. Okay. You have extra.
Yeah, extra flooring. I added the lights. There was never lights up here.
Yeah.
So I had the electrician come in and do lights, because I'm like, you have to have lights in the attic.
Yeah. Okay, so this barrel, you wanted to talk about that a little bit?
So reading the book, the barrel was, when they would import or export things, they'd go to Norwich down the Thames River. It's how they import and export. And said they would use wooden barrels because they're easy to put together and take apart.
Oh.
So that was here, so just a part of the history of the house.
Yeah. So they would take their goods, put them in this barrel,
Yep.
and then ship them down the river
Yep.
in
They
Norwich.
put them on boats and then go down the river to wherever they were importing or exporting to.
It's just, I would love to know what was in that barrel. But then they kept it.
I was
so
hoping
it's been
gold
in this
coins,
house.
but there's no gold coins. I did look for them.
Darn it. I noticed, Mark was showing me this a little bit earlier, and he was telling us about the newspaper that they put in between these rafters, or in between the, what is it? It's
So they
basically
originally
roof-
had the wood shake roofs, which
Okay.
you could always see out of.
Yeah.
But then when it would rain, they would swell, so water would never come in. But then this was added so you wouldn't see daylight.
Okay, so it was
all
just to
different
protect
areas.
daylight. So
Yep.
newspaper, actual newspaper clippings, right? So then I started scrolling around and I was looking for a date and I found one over here. Somewhere.
Yeah, I think it was more closer to me.
Oh, this one right here. Yeah. And it says Tuesday, December 22nd, 1818 on it. So, and then there was one over here that had a recipe on it. So, it's kind of cool. I mean, there's just so much history, even in this attic, or, I mean, in this whole house, obviously, but like, that they decided in
stood the test of time.
1800s.
That stood the test of time. It's been there that long.
And you can still see, I mean, you really can see the words. You can, 1800s, they decided that this was a good idea to put this
Right.
newspaper here. I think that's wild.
Yep.
I love it. I say that all the time. Break.
Isn't this good?
I have, you're like talking, I'm like,
We have to.
I know.
That's why we have it. It's not here for show.
I mean, I'm right, it is not.
Exactly.
I want to actually drink this one.
Exactly.
Are you ready? So, this little tiny door.
That's the bedroom. So originally when it was a center chimney colonial, staircase came up the front and you would have to walk here to get to the back or use the back staircase.
So you would have to go through the bedroom to get to this back hallway.
So in real estate right now, we would call that functional obsolescence.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't go through one room to get to another.
Never.
But here, that's just because when it had the center chimney, you had no hallway.
Yeah.
So that's the only way you could get around.
I love it.
Thank you. And then again, the trim, I did smaller than what's downstairs. We did the axe head. So it's still elegant, but not as grand, because the doors aren't as big as what's downstairs either.
So back before, it was just this, the square.
It was, actually, Nate, can
Square?
you just point out this here? It was just basic.
Just basic square.
Small doors. They weren't wide, they weren't high, but guests never came up here, so it was really just for their viewing.
But you're fancy.
Everything needs to be elegant everywhere. I like consistency as much as possible.
So another bedroom here.
Yes.
And like the other set of the house, you have to walk through the bedroom to get to another piece of the
Right.
house. So this is kind of a cool room and area, which you've modified, you said.
Yes, yes I have. So I did a new heating system, added central air, so everything had to go up above. So the old heat was down below, but everything now comes from the ceiling, the heat and the air.
Did you,
So
you
this-
raised the ceiling?
Yep. So it used to be this high, the whole room. So I raised it as high as I could wherever I could.
Love that.
Here, the laundry room, the bathroom, it just, yeah, love it.
I love that. This is, it's just like a bright, is there, oh yeah, there is a light on, but it just feels so bright in here.
Yeah.
It just feels good.
Most people, this is their favorite room.
Yeah.
And then those windows open in on the out, and the middle one goes
Oh
up and
yes,
down.
that's right.
Yeah,
Should we talk about that
talk
again?
about it.
I love talking
It's
about
fun. Then you open the bottom and little shelves in there.
this. So cute. Love.
Expose the bricks. Again, they're not pretty, but new houses you just have blocks so you don't even see them.
Right.
So I'd rather see not pretty bricks than the blocks to show when somebody did it by hand. And
Yes.
they did any of this stuff. In the book, this little room was actually a bedroom because it
This
talks
was a
about
bedroom?
somebody sleeping outside of the bathroom. So for me, this room had no purpose. So I moved the washer and dryer up here because
Yeah.
it was originally downstairs, and then raised the ceiling, and then has a bathroom.
Wow. And this you said went outside.
That used to go into the shed, where the indoor outhouses.
So
It went
this
down there.
person had a access to the outdoor and access to the bathroom.
Correct.
They were living like queens
Teenagers
in
would
this
have loved this
tiny
nowadays.
little
Exactly.
bedroom.
Picture a little bed like right there.
Yeah,
or
just like
something.
right in the corner.
Maybe it was this way.
Maybe.
No, because the door
well,
was
yeah,
there.
right.
The door
Or
was there.
this way.
So I
I
added
guess, I
this
don't
when I took a wall down, so you can see how the slats and the plaster, and it's really thick. But I thought it was important to just keep part of the house wherever I could as much as possible.
Yeah, very smart. Okay. Wonderful.
Found this as a paint shop I found up in the barn under a stack of wood. Never knew it was there. Probably the previous owners before me didn't know it was there. It was probably the owners, the
Way
original
before.
owners. There's
Yeah.
probably one of them.
We're
that
just
had that.
stacked under.
There's a
and then
pile. I just decided because when you ever you buy a house, old house, you just leave stuff, and I decided for the new people, instead of having stuff that's been here for 5 different owners, I want to just clean it up and leave stuff original for the house. Then we found that.
So maybe that was a paint shop?
I'm sure it was.
Was that original to the land? I know that you
It
said
had to
something.
have been. I
Yeah.
think it had to have been.
Well, you have a map,
Yes.
right? Can tell us about your map.
So somebody gave me this book on Hampton, Brooklyn, and this house is in it again, but then it has a map of the streets, and it goes by the owners, not the addresses, not the houses, whoever owned them at the time.
So it's like Dr. Smith
Correct.
and
The Joneses.
you know, the
and-
Joneses,
yes.
and
So literally shows you all the houses, but the name of whoever owned them when that was done.
it's crazy.
which is- yeah.
But you don't really know what house it is
No.
unless you were looking at it and really,
Because you can do the crossroad here
Yeah.
and then figure out coming over where it is.
it's crazy. So in that map, you were thinking that there was another house here.
So
maybe.
no, in the book, it said that at the beginning of the driveway, there used to be a 2-family there.
Oh.
So the gentleman in town that this is his grandparents' house,
Mm-hmm.
he remembered as a kid they used to share the driveway next door
Okay.
and drive up and park, come in over here and
Because
park
they
in
both
the shed.
owned, like it was family owned
Yes.
from both. Okay, I
Yep.
see.
Which kind of makes sense. People would come to visit me and go to that driveway because it's so
I
much
know.
closer to
Yeah.
my house versus the driveway being here. But the nice thing with it being here is the barn. You have that nice walkway, just very elegant,
It is,
walking up to
yeah.
the house and having the nice long walkway. And the barn, the previous owners did a ton of work to it. I guess it was in pretty much disrepair. They did the metal roof, there's concrete, there's electricity, there's water.
Oh, beautiful.
They did a lot to it.
And then you have this gazebo.
Yes.
This whole land is
Yeah.
amazing. So you go as far back as
The big trees way in the back.
beyond the next pasture.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep. So that has frontage on the side road.
Yeah.
So I go behind the church, the house, and it's just a nice 7.5 acres.
Let's check out this gazebo.
Let's check it out. Good thing I swept it yesterday.
I know. Well, you wouldn't have if it were. No.
I was waiting for them, so.
Thankfully, you had plenty of time.
Correct.
I don't know about thankfully. Ooh,
Welcome.
Thank you. Screened in. This is beautiful.
Yeah. What's that? All right.
Oh, okay.
So I'll just kind of do this. There you go.
Do one of these.
So yes, so we
We'll do our
have.
little.
I come out here in the morning, sometimes have coffee,
Oh,
and then you just look and take in the whole back of the house.
such a beautiful
And the
house.
birds.
Yeah.
Fox were living underneath. So I see the fox in the afternoon running around.
3 huge chimneys. That's the thing about older houses too. The chimneys are just gargantuan.
And it's just the character that they bring
Yeah.
to a house versus the newer ones where they're doing metal now.
Yeah.
They're not even doing brick or block, where this is brick top to bottom.
And there's sometimes with the newer style homes, there's just one single.
Yep.
That's it. Because there were so many fireplaces to heat the house. There was no,
Right.
there was no oil boiler, like anything.
There's central heat at all.
Yeah, right. And so now it's like all these beautiful chimneys in these houses are
Yeah.
great. It's a nice
Yeah,
feature.
it's a fabulous house. It really is. The shutters were in the barn, so I checked those out. In the book, they were green. They're still green in the barn, so I have them painted black.
Oh.
Because I always wanted a white house with black shutters. So when I was buying this, like, this is the house I've always envisioned without
Yeah.
realizing that this was the house I was buying.
Oh my god.
Because I wasn't looking for an old house. It just
and
happened.
it just came to you.
It just happened. I showed it to somebody else and they didn't buy it. There I am.
So you originally showed this house, and
Yeah.
then you were like,
I
well,
wanted
kinda
newer,
like this.
smaller to cut my grass with a weed whacker.
Oh my goodness.
It's in Alexander's Lake.
And here
I
you
am,
are.
7.5 acres.
I was gonna say 7 acres later and a huge,
Right.
huge house.
But it's
How much square footage wise?
3,800 square feet.
3,800 square feet.
Yeah. But it truly has never, ever, ever been overwhelming.
Yeah.
Like when I came in, people were like, you have to do this. I'm like, oh, I can just do a little bit. Well, of course, that never happens. But it's just been a very comfortable house to live in
Yeah.
and to be
There's
here.
like these little nooks and crannies, but it's still open.
Yeah.
I love
Yep.
that.
So interesting thing is, if you look at those houses, you can see the sidewalk.
Oh yeah.
So this here, if you look at the book, was level. And there was 2 roads, and there was an island in the middle. It was called the high road and the low road. And at some point, the state combined them and did this. So that's why I don't own that lower part.
Interesting.
I thought I did.
Right here.
Yep. The state, because that
So
originally was
you
the road.
took the high road.
I took the high road. I like how you think.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having us over. This was such a beautiful house, a wonderful experience. You've done a great job with all the renovations. So
Thank you very much. I'm glad you guys came out. Thank you, Nate, for everything you're doing. And thank you for including me in your package of information that you want to get out to people. I appreciate that.
Well, if you want to follow us, this is tours of luxury and antique homes. We're going to enjoy our wine. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Have a great day. This is Sheena Ruggirello signing off.
Take care.